Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahawashi, Bahasham, Barakahak Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the Brother Ra'aya coming at you with another lesson, and I'll be reading from an article on dailydot.com titled, How is This Possible? Man reaches for cheddar and sour cream ruffles, then he discovers it's equal to the price of a ribeye steak. Somebody needs to be making these companies accountable for this, and hey, there's going to be no accountability taking place. And the economic situation in the United States of America is going to continue to get worse out here because we are living in the times of the controlled, though it's going to become quickly uncontrollable, demolition of the United States of America by the elites, such as the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, whatever name you want to give them, who want to bring in that new system, that fourth industrial revolution, that great RESET, the fourth industrial revolution, 15-minute cities, CBDCs, and you ultimately having a micro C-hip implanted inside your body. And between here and them, moving towards that goal, they're going to be creating a lot of chaos to squeeze you people out here. And as that devil Henry Kissinger once said, control the oil and you control the nation, control the food and you control the people. And food scarcity and food unaffordability is one of the greatest motivators out here to get people to do exactly what you want them to do. So again, there will be no accountability taking place. But on top of all those things, what we are seeing is the judgment of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi coming down on America and you wicked people in it. This customer did the math and figured out that a bag of cheddar and sour cream ruffles is valued at more than a prime cut of steak. Food prices keep on rising. Food prices have gone up 31% in the last 6 years, and it's unlikely they'll universally go back down, NerdWallet reported, and that's a part of biblical prophecy. This is Revelation chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 5. And this is dealing with the so-called four horsemen of the apocalypse, which is symbolic for things that would be taking place in the last days. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. Verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. And we're going to go to that word penny in the Strong's, which is G1220, denarion. A Roman silver coin in New Testament times. It was the principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it would seem that a denarius was then the ordinary pay for a day's wages, because in the ancient world, and especially in the law and the scriptures, a man was paid for his work that very same day. It isn't like today where, most people are paid every 2 weeks. So relating it to modern times, what? A person's entire paycheck to buy, just enough amount of goods. So, yeah, that sounds like inflation to me. And the United States of America is Rome all over again. So you can look at this denarius as what? The US dollar, which we see that the value of the dollar is decreasing due to inflation. And then on top of that, with, these tariffs, Trump is planning on putting into place, what? You're going to see things get more expensive out here. Even Trump said, look, things are going to get tight for, the average American out here. And he also said, to people complaining online about these egg prices that they just need to shut the hell up and deal with it. Hey, like many brothers and myself have been saying, it's looking like DJ Donald Trump could very well be that cruel Lord in Isaiah chapter 19, which is set over Egypt, spiritual Egypt, because a name for the United States of America is, Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. So again, food prices have gone up 31% in the last 6 years, and it's unlikely they'll universally go back down. NerdWallet reported a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. Just to get enough to feed yourself, you're using damn near your entire paycheck. So how much worse is it going to be for people out here with a spouse, children, or family members they're taking care of? And there's no one factor we can point to account for this staggering rise. Instead, it's a combination of supply chain issues caused by global events, severe weather, and disease, higher production, labor, and fuel costs, and companies maintaining or increasing profits despite the volatile market. And chips. Yes, regular potato chips haven't been immune to price hikes. One of the United States' most popular salty snacks has become much pricier. 10 years ago, the average cost of a 16-ounce bag of chips was $4.27. At the end of last year, that number hit $6.32. And, I go to Smoothie King fairly regularly and get the same thing. And I've noticed that the thing I've been getting has gone up to damn near $3. So, hey, that inflation is real out here. As it turns out, Idaho and Washington, the top potato producing states, have had consecutive record warm years. That, combined with water scarcity, has made the potatoes that supply our fries, chips, and mash much more expensive. And hey, that's also a part of prophecy that adverse weather events would be affecting these farmers and their croplands and their yields. This is 2 Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to start at verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. And that's speaking of the children of Israel, who are known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And where's their main place of torment? The United States of America, which again in the scriptures is known as spiritual Egypt. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. And Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi is about to save his elect, globally, but especially the 1/3 that's in America. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm. Hey, them getting, beamed up onto the chariots, which people ignorantly refer to as so-called UFOs, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof, ultimately by nuclear missiles, turning this place into the biblical lake of fire and then a desolate wasteland desert afterwards. Egypt, America, shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And back in that article, you've got a Edomite, a so-called white-looking person, mourning, complaining about how expensive a small bag of potato chips is getting. And it's going to get much worse from here on out, to where, people are going to look back on these times as we were living in a luxury, even though prices were getting high. Verse 13, they that till the ground, farmers, shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting and the hail, adverse weather events, water scarcity, wildfires, drought, and with a fearful constellation. And the Pesach just took place recently, and on the Pesach you had what? A lunar eclipse and a blood moon. And whenever the Most High shews signs in the heavens, great judgment takes place afterwards. But this customer was surprised by just how high the price had gotten. Customer says cheddar and sour cream ruffles aren't worth the price. In a viral video with more than 300,000 views, grocery shopper John Kudzi at .JohnYC pointed out an unfortunate pricing fact. And I'm going to just go down and play the clip on TikTok. And fair use copyright disclaimer. I do not own any of the footage in this clip, nor do I stand to gain from it monetarily. It is simply for educational purposes.
All right, here back at it at the grocery store again. This may be the worst one that I've seen yet. Ruffles, cheddar sour cream, $2.69 straight from the factory, okay? 2 1/4 ounces, which would mean that's over $16 a pound, or exactly the same price as a ribeye steak here in town. It's like $15.99, maybe $16.99 for a pound of ribeye. $2.69, 2 1/4 ounces. That's 2.25. That's roughly between $17 and $18 for a pound of a quarter of a single fucking potato. I can guarantee you one full potato is maybe 3 or 4 of these bags. Make that make sense. If you break that down, a quarter of a potato times 4, you're looking at 4 potatoes for the same price as a ribeye steak. That's fucking wild. Somebody needs to be making these companies accountable for this bullshit. That's crazy.
Hey, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. That's about it with this article. But hey, nothing but doom and gloom and lamentations, mournings and woe is coming to not just the United States of America, but this entire planet, because we're coming into the times of Jacob's trouble, where Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is about to judge the people on this earth for the great wickedness they've been living in. But the United States of America is going to be the cherry on top for judgment. But I'm going to get Ezekiel chapter 7, verse 12. I'm going to read it in the KJV and then the NLT, or the New Living Translation. The time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. Now in the NLT, yes, the time has come, the day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor sellers grieve over losses. And that Edomite-looking man in that clip was definitely grieving over what? The expensiveness of that bag of potato chips, which is what? A loss in the purchasing power of the US dollar. For all of them will fall under my terrible anger. So those out here who are struggling, and those out here who are working the system to gain from it, it doesn't matter, because judgment is coming to everybody in Egypt, the United States of America. Again, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. And like I said earlier in the video, Henry Kissinger said to control a nation, you control its oil, but to control, the people, you just got to control the food. And that's, one of the main pressure points that these elites are going to do, manipulate, to bring the pain out here and get you people in line. Prices are going to continue to go up. Supply chain disruptions and adverse weather events are going to continue to take place. And there will be food shortages out here. This is 2 Esdras chapter 6. I'm going to start at verse 22. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And what's a place that's sown? A farmland. You sow seed. And, as we read in that article, and as we read in 2 Esdras chapter 15, those that till the ground are mourning due to water scarcity, wildfires, and adverse weather events, impeding their ability to, sow and reap, the amount of fruits and vegetables that they would like to, which plays into higher prices out here due to a scarcity of things. And then eventually the full storehouses, these grocery stores and other places out here shall suddenly be found empty store shelves. And those things that are left are going to be damn near unaffordable for the average person out here. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be suddenly afraid. At that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies, and the earth shall stand in fear with those that dwell therein, and the springs of the fountain shall stand still, and in 3 hours they shall not run. But the main point I wanted to get to, at that time shall friends fight one against another like enemies. And what would be one of the main things to cause close friends, close family members, and neighbors who were cool with each other to fight each other to the death? Famines, food shortages. Which brings me back to 2 Esdras chapter 15. I'm going to jump down to verse 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. And that modern day sword, especially in America, is that kinetic object, that gun, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread. Food shortages, the full storehouses suddenly being found empty, and for great tribulation, all the other plagues and punishments that Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is going to bring to America. So, people are complaining now that a small bag of chips is, the price of a ribeye steak when you do the math. But with the times of Jacob's trouble we're quickly coming into, people would look back at these times as a luxury and wish to go back to these times, because it's about to get deadly serious out here, where a man will not pity his neighbor, but shall destroy him and his house with the force of the sword. But that's it with this video. With this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We are almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharallah, and until next time, Shalom.